What would your advice be to someone who's trying to crack into the market here?
We're in a multinational platform. That's why we love the UAE, because it's a place where you can come from anywhere around the world. This doesn't happen much in Europe and America. Abu Dhabi families over Dubai families. Dubai families have gone. Why? Because the volume of people. If I'm in automotive now, we've got Chinese cars coming in.
Yeah.
They're probably going to dominate 80% of the road in the next few years. Construction, they're still building everywhere. So all these industry units are doing fine. So why take the risk in expanding to India or expanding to China? It's not just about America anymore. America's like this at the moment. Europe's like this at the moment. I become this organic guy now who's not a banker, who's not a broker, who runs this organic platform that gives insights, informations and connections for free. People are looking for jobs. You have one shot to capture their attention.
Networking works very differently in other countries versus the UAE.
Everybody listening this who's from outside the country. So just different. America fighting with China, the data center chip war at the moment, Trump saying the H1 visas are not accessible to India at the moment. Is that going to push all the software back to India? And this is why this place is amazing at the moment. We've taken what works in China, America, and we brought it here. I was on stage with the Undersecretary, and it was him who said, "My dream is..."
Before we dive in, I want to take a moment to thank our venue partner, On the Road Specialty Cafe here in Al Quoz. They've been kind enough to host us, and honestly, it's one of the favorite spots in Dubai. They're all about quality coffee, a warm community vibe, and creating a space where people actually want to slow down and connect. So if you're in Al Quoz, definitely stop by, grab a coffee, and experience it for yourself. Huge thanks again to On the Road Specialty Cafe for being such a great partner and for supporting Unfiltered Investments.
Hi everyone, welcome to the next episode of Unfiltered Investments. Today we have someone who has quickly become one of the most connected people in the UAE investment space, so much so that he is LinkedIn's top 50 most connected professional. Though he's new to the space, he's created real impact by bringing together the family office community through events and insights. So he offers a rare perspective to the family office industry, the culture, the relationships, and how it all differs from other countries. So please welcome Mr. Obediah, or you can call him Obi. Hi Obediah, thank you so much for coming and taking the time out. I know it would have been very difficult with all the traveling and the events that you have coming up and things like that. So I have seen you in the industry and I run across you all the time. But everyone knows so little about you and your background. So I think that is like the first thing I would want to start about.
So, everyone always says I'm mysterious.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't mean to have that, like, it's not reputation, but I guess the best way to say it is I came to the UAE with a laptop. I stayed in a long stay hotel and I built my first company from there. And that was in 2017.
Okay, so where were you before 2017?
Well, that's the thing. It's like everybody's sometimes so into kind of what was your background? Who did you work for? I've never really had a proper job.
Okay.
I've never worked for a big brand. So I guess a part of me is a bit shy in saying a lot about what I did because there was nothing really there. I guess when I graduated university in America, so I went to America. I studied to be an accountant because my brother was an accountant. So I just said, okay, I'll follow him. And then I graduated and at the weekend I carried a golf bag. So I caddied. So that was my job. So outside of school, I carried golf bags for guys on Long Island. And when I graduated, a gentleman who I carried a golf bag for most Saturday mornings at just before 8, about 7:45, he said, "Come work for me." And I knew he worked in real estate, and I said, "No offense, I don't really want to work in real estate." I don't know why I said that, but I had no interest. But he said, "No, come work for my team." His personal team. Be an accountant, be with my lawyers, everything. So I ended up working for, quote unquote, his family office. Which in my eyes, a family office then was not really spending or allocating money. It was just dealing with him and his family. Ex-wives, kids who want to spend loads of money, issues every day. He had a building where New York State were trying to sue him because it was blocking something. This is, to me, was what a family office was.
Yeah.
So I didn't know at the time what I was working in. I was just reporting to him as a junior accountant.
Wow.
So I guess moving on from that, I didn't renew my H1 visa, and I wanted to. Came back to the UK, tried to do it from the US Embassy there. It didn't work. I was wasting time.
Yeah.
I remember I got a job at a golf course and I worked at a bar in the evenings just to kind of make money.
Yeah.
And then I came out to an event out here. I just heard Dubai, you don't pay tax.
Yeah.
And I came for 5 days. I really liked it. Everything was still a bit half built. And I thought, whoa, this is quite exciting. There's cars on the road at that point. And then eventually kind of just packed my stuff up, took my laptop, stayed in a really horrible hotel on Sheikh Road. It was called Grand Stay.
Okay.
Had like orange carpets, horrible, really horrible.
Okay.
And built a few small companies, services company. One was a marketing company, one was an accounting company.
Oh, wow.
Because VAT had just come in
Yes.
2017-18.
Okay.
So timing was a bit lucky with that. So that was really my story before
Yes.
everything here. So there's not really like, oh, I worked at this company, this company,
Yeah,
this
but
company.
you know, it's nice to know a little bit about you, because then I can paint a picture, you know, like, okay, he went to US and then London and
Yeah,
then
of
here
course.
he is, right? And it's a very inspiring story. So like, okay, when you came here, you saw a gap in the marketing side. What was the marketing?
To be honest, it was more about how you can make money.
Yeah.
Because I had nothing. I didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
From the accounting side, I heard that the Federal Tax Authority launched VAT, and
Yeah.
I was like, really? You're just launching that now?
Yeah, that's true.
So it was more about winning business. My brother had a business, so I was using his staff, but winning the business, if that makes sense.
Okay, got
Just
it.
like bookkeeping,
Yeah.
filing. Then I eventually got it licensed and regulated by the Federal Tax Authority, but that was later because it cost money.
Yeah.
And on the marketing side, it was just everybody needed digital help. So
Yeah.
I found a guy on Fiverr, managed to break the firewall, found out who he was,
Yeah.
and kind of worked with him and then gave him business. So I was like a sales arm and just
Yeah.
giving business to them and generating money.
Wow. So how did you shift into this side?
Good question. So I think I didn't have any friends,
Okay.
0. So I started a little networking drinks. I think my first one was 2018 or 19, before the
Okay.
pandemic. And I focused on family businesses. And this is
Okay.
when I started to kind of build a bit of a social presence on LinkedIn about not so much family office, but kind of just these family enterprises. And then kept doing these drinks evenings. I was paying for them.
Okay.
I tried a few where I bought in some outside sponsors, but I didn't really like it because you kind of have to let the whole evening be dominated by a sponsor.
Yeah, that's
And I
true.
kind of thought I would rather pay for it because I don't really want to annoy the community.
But like, how did you convince people to come and meet you for drinks?
Good people. I thought, because I don't have a Goldman Sachs CV or anything like that, I thought the only way I can add value to people is by giving them good people.
Okay.
So somebody who's more successful than me,
Yeah. So you would just reach out
I can't
to
give them professional services, so I'm not qualified.
Yeah.
But I can give them good people
Okay.
that most people need.
Okay.
So I thought if I match 2 good people, that's creating value for people who are more successful than me.
Okay.
So that was
So you just started meeting people for drinks randomly, and you were targeting these family enterprises.
pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
And that was like my niche.
Okay.
I
got
didn't
it.
try and get all the banks together. I didn't try and get all the
Yeah.
sovereign funds together. I just focused on family businesses because it was the private sector.
Yeah.
Again, knocking on a door of a government building or a sovereign is very intimidating
Yeah,
for
that's
a
true.
guy like me.
Yeah.
So that's how it started. And then the American group I was with in 2020, 2019, 2020, kind of the bridge between both years, said to me that they want to set up I kind of convinced them as well, set up an outfit in ADGM.
Okay.
So we set up a Cat 3C license
Okay.
pretty much during the pandemic.
Okay.
It was good because nobody else was doing it, but it was bad because, again, it was incredibly boring. There was nobody
Yeah.
there.
Got it.
Trust me, ADGM in pandemic was not fun.
I can imagine. DIFC was also like
Yeah,
so
agreed.
lonely. So
It's
I
a
can
pandemic,
imagine,
right?
yeah.
None of us knew what was going on, but the fact was it was like we weren't allowed to socialize. So
Yeah.
as a person who's super excited to get out ADGM, build this asset management license, and with this dream of getting into the investment world, I thought this is it. And then it just kind of went a bit dead,
Yeah, that's true.
a bit quiet. So I've said this story before, and then this is when I focused on kind of the LinkedIn content. Because we weren't meeting face to face, my networking stuff kind of stopped for a bit. I focused a lot on content online.
So I know you're top 50 most connected on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I put that tag there because I kept getting these achievements of being like top, I was like 28th on LinkedIn in terms of like the most, not active profiles, but the most engaged profiles. You have these tech companies that reach out to you.
Yeah.
So I kind of labeled it as that, and then eventually I just left it up there because it was kind of a bit of the branding, and that's who I wanted to be, kind of the guy who was a bit of a magnet for family businesses.
Got it. So now I want to come back to the Cat 3 license.
Yeah.
What is a Cat 3 license?
Well, it's changed since then.
Okay.
But it's pretty much an asset management license that allows you to manage assets as well as advise on securities and God knows what else.
So when you say manage assets, that means they will invest their money or clients' money?
It's changed since we did it, but I believe you can invest. So like a multifamily office license is similar. You can invest money on behalf of your clients.
Okay.
Right?
So Cat 3 is similar.
It's pretty much like a boutique investment bank license.
Okay, got it.
I believe. Because there's now a Cat 4 license which allows you to kind of be an advisor and advise transactions.
Okay, got it.
But not manage money. So again, I probably should do more research on it because both of them especially the last year, the requirements have changed. Like you need more people.
Yeah.
It's costing a lot more.
True.
And the regulatory restraints have got higher because this place is getting better, right? It's becoming more regulated.
True.
So the list of requirements has got bigger.
Yeah.
I did it when it was different.
Is it different for ADGM and DIFC?
No.
Is there a bigger gap? Like people say that
DIFC is more expensive.
Okay, but that's the only difference that is there in terms of requirement.
Yeah, I think it is a preference.
Okay.
I always say Abu Dhabi makes more sense if you kind of want to hang around the sovereigns and ADNOC.
Got it.
And it's very Americanized now, right? They have this focus on attracting American institution. When Trump shook hands with Sheikh Tahnoon and Sheikh Zayed and agreed on this big tech kind of movement, that's going to create thousands of jobs for Americans in the UAE.
Oh, interesting.
That's not a lot of people are thinking about that.
Yeah.
Which will in itself create more of an institutional approach to Abu Dhabi.
Sovereign Wealth Fund. A sovereign wealth fund is an investment fund owned by a government. It invests money, often from oil, exports or budget surpluses, into assets like stocks, bonds and real estate to grow wealth for the country over the long term.
So why just Americans and not expats or...
No, it'll be others, but it was just that agreement.
Okay.
And look what Mr. Trump's doing. He's focusing on America, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So the first thing, if they're going to be spending money between that corridor, he's going to put Americans there first.
Yeah. Wow.
So, but it will create opportunities for everybody else, right?
Yeah, true.
We're in a multinational platform. That's why we love the UAE.
Yeah.
Because it's a place where you can come from anywhere around the world and it's theirs to use.
Yeah.
Yes, you have to pay for it. You don't pay tax, but you have to pay to use the platform.
True.
But it's available.
I agree with that. So, like, you say that sovereign wealth fund bubble is in Abu Dhabi, versus Dubai is known for what kind of companies?
So let's go back to kind of. So I finished the Cat 3C.
Yes.
And the goal was to run around and try and broker transactions, be a bit of a placement guy.
Okay.
Because in Abu Dhabi, again, it wasn't really a thing.
Yeah, true.
In 2021.
True.
So I started to do so. I had this really good private equity fund from New York, like really good GPs.
GPs, general partners. General partners are the people who run private equity or venture capital funds. They decide which companies to invest in, manage those investments, and are responsible for the fund's performance.
It was kind of the best product I could take to Abu Dhabi. They're not going to
Okay.
look at venture capital transactions, VC funds. They kind of want to look at more top tier where the risk is less.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, where there's guys with good track records.
Yeah.
So I was running around town, knocking on all the doors of the sovereigns, big families. And it was good because I was meeting everyone.
That's true.
But then it became my job to pester people. So when you become a placement person trying to do deals,
Yeah.
you're getting paid to annoy investors for their time
Yeah.
because you're working on behalf of the client. You're not
Yeah.
yes, you want to get money into it, but that's going to benefit the product.
Not true.
Okay, you may get a
Yeah.
piece of the pie, but they're paying you to get that.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it I did it for about a year and a half. I enjoyed it, but I cared more about what people thought of me than making money out on trying to broker transactions. And that was a massive switch turn for me because I think when you're seen as a young guy running around trying to do big deals, you're wearing a suit, you're trying to kind of be somebody you're not. And yeah, there was some turning point. I don't know what it was. And I just kind of went, I don't want to do that
So
anymore.
when was this? Which year?
Kind of the trend. So when we finished the CAT 3C license, it was end of 2020,
Okay.
21 to middle of 2022.
You were doing this.
Yes.
And then,
In Abu Dhabi in ADGM, I was living in Abu Dhabi.
okay. And then,
I was waving the flag of Abu Dhabi saying, I didn't even look at Dubai at that point because my
Okay.
life was there.
yeah, true.
And I saw that nobody networked, nobody was doing kind of running around trying to do private transactions. So I thought that was the gap.
Yeah.
I started holding up cardboard signs in ADGM Square.
Oh,
Yeah, got me in a bit of attention from people, but yeah, I was finding different ways to get attention. So I was being a bit disruptive, if you want to call it.
how are people responding to it?
So I guess finishing the story is, so there was this turning point where in Abu Dhabi, I was like, I don't want to be this guy. So then it made me look at Dubai a bit more. And I was starting to look at the comparators because I was like, if I don't want to be this guy in Abu Dhabi, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
So I think because a lot of people in Abu Dhabi are employed by similar people, right? The
Okay.
institutions, the institutional layer. If you're an arm of one of the sovereigns, you're an arm of IHC, you're an arm of the government.
Okay.
Everybody's kind of employed by a similar top
Okay.
line. So I always felt that Abu Dhabi was less open. And I was kind of this guy trying to be a bit different. So I always had this mind of, okay, if I convince 60 people to like me and 40 people don't like what I'm doing, then that's okay, I progress. So when I was sitting in Abu Dhabi, I was like, I had some stories of, people that like it. I don't like what this kid does because it's not what we do in Abu Dhabi. I was invited to some groups set up by some of these guys who work for, if it's G42 or a few other groups, great groups, but they were trying to do their own little networking groups. And I was kind of promoting myself to be kind of the networking guy, but I wasn't associated with one of the bigger groups.
Okay.
So sometimes I was invited to these groups and slowly kind of pushed out because I'm not really part of their
Yeah.
squad. So I was doing this networking group. I started doing the drinks evening again when I had the Cat 3C.
Yeah.
I didn't tell you that. And then in 2022, I said, I want to do an event with a brand. And this is when I started the summits.
Yeah. I know. I attended your first summit.
Did you?
Yes, I
The
did.
first one.
The first
See,
one,
now looking
yes.
back at the first one, I'm so glad I did it. But wow, was there so many, I tried to do so many different things. The venue was too big. People on stage couldn't hear each other because I put the speakers behind somewhere. There was actually so many problems, but I think because quite a few people still met good people, they liked it. And there were lots of weird people that showed up that weren't invited. I didn't really monitor the front door well, because in Abu Dhabi, I kind of didn't think that strange people would turn up and walk in. So there was, it was amazing to get it going, because I think everyone has to do that one event.
Yeah.
If you're or like your one podcast or your one thing, just to get it moving.
Yeah, that's
and you
true.
have to learn from all the mistakes that you did in that and then improve them. So yeah, the first one was a good learning curve, but it was good enough that people decided to come back.
Yeah, that's true.
So I know that you're targeting family offices, and I kind of want to pivot into that. So you spoke about working for a family back in US,
Yes.
and how you were managing their family problems,
Yes.
rather than more on asset allocation,
Yes.
versus the family offices here.
Yes.
So in general, let's start with family offices. What are family offices and how do they function in general?
So yes, moving on from my story, let's go into the detail. So the words family office, I actually don't like it because it's so heavily overused. Everybody with an office and a family is a family office, right?
Yeah.
This is the problem with the UAE. So I kind of wanted to cut through the noise and be this thought leader who just says, right, you have a family business. The family business wants to be successful. It wants to grow the family name and build out its legacy.
Okay.
Now, the family business, especially here, given that most family enterprises since the UAE was formed are 50 plus years old. They're probably older, but call it since the UAE was formed.
Yeah.
So a lot of them have key industry pillars. So that's automotive, healthcare, construction, that help run this economy.
Yeah, true.
So as a family business, diversifying into something that's very different is not worth the risk.
Okay.
Plus, there's too much to do. They're still building the country. Most of these families are making too much money just continuing what they're doing.
Yeah.
If I'm in automotive now, we've got Chinese cars coming in.
Yeah.
They're probably going to dominate 80% of the road in the next few years.
Next few years, yes.
Construction, they're still building everywhere.
Yeah.
So all these industry units are doing fine. So why take the risk in expanding to India or expanding to China?
Yeah.
I don't need to. So the family business will only typically look at things that are strategic to the name and the current business verticals.
Okay.
Now, we have this lovely thing called a family office, which not many have in this country, where a dividend is sent to a SPV or a structure in DIFC ADGM.
SPV, Special Purpose Vehicle. An SPV is a separate legal company created just for one specific investment or project. It is used to keep that investment's assets and risks separate from the rest of the business or fund.
And you have a team of typically, I would call it 2 or 3 people initially, who their job is to spend that money to make money. And typically they would do that via private equity funds, hedge funds, equities, fixed income, bonds. Initially more liquid strategies because they want to report back to the boss that they're doing a good job.
Yeah.
And then they'll start going private equity, pushing it around. So there's this big confusion because a lot of people go to the family business and treat it like a family office.
Okay.
And the problem in this country is they're so polite that most people will take that meeting. So a hedge fund New York will go and meet the family business. They'll have a lot of, the family business will learn a lot from the hedge fund, but they're not structured to make an LP investment in a hedge fund. Some do, but it will take them over a year to kind of consolidate their liquidity and deal with all the family members to make that decision. So they can do it, but is it a challenge? Is it stressful? Sometimes they just say, it's not worth it. Like, I'm sure you're good at what you do and you make loads of money, but by the time I get all the liquidity from this business, convince my brothers, it's 8 months down the road and we're already focusing on something else.
Yeah, that's true.
So the family office is only really become something, especially for the local families, new, personally.
Yeah.
There was only a few doing it well.
I agree with you.
But now it's kind of increasing a lot. And I think it's because of corporate tax, international exposure. Being honest, I think the next gen want to be capitalists. I mean, following mum and dad's business to pursue the construction vertical. Oh yeah, I could build my own building, fine. But in a nice way, to build my own legacy, if I actually invest in, I don't know, a late stage VC SPV and it becomes an IPO, I will get more success out of that than building a building in JVC.
True.
So I think that the next trend here for the next few years will be the separation of family business and family wealth.
Okay.
Now, the difference is most family businesses here will have 12 shareholders, average.
Okay, got it.
Maybe slightly less.
And this is among the family only?
Yeah, among the family business.
Got it.
So all these different family offices are individual members of potentially one family business.
Oh, wow.
So one family business could create 12 family offices.
Okay.
So this doesn't happen much in Europe and America. So we have to think about all these different offices who want to create their own legacies.
Wow.
So I think there's still so much education on what that family office product is. Personally, it's 2 or 3 people who get sent the dividend. Their job is to spend money and report back to the boss and saying, this is what we've invested in, this is what we're doing, and we're professionals. You pay us big salaries because we're good at what we do.
Yeah.
Most people will come from a successful investment bank and they're not cheap.
Yeah.
But then you yourself has had an experience of also family offices can become semi-institute. They can become big.
Yes, they can.
15, 20 employees.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is not a problem, but they can become big institutions themselves. But it takes time.
It takes a lot of time. So coming back to family offices, 12 different families.
Yeah.
Okay, so 12 members are forming 12 different family offices.
Office structures, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that this is not the first generation.
No.
This is the second or the third.
First gen were probably... First gen, most of them do have a family office structure in some way, shape or form.
Okay.
Not a lot, but some do. Like Majid Al Futtaim have Math Trust. Futtaim have Al Futtaim Capital. Guerre have Massar Investments. So some of them do, but they, in a nice way, they could be better. And I think the next gen will make them better.
But the first generation doesn't really believe in it, or
no, I think so much time is spent on the family business.
Yeah, that's true. Building
like
the family
look
business.
at Abu Dhabi families over Dubai families. Dubai families have gone. Why? Because the volume of people.
Yeah.
And most of the Dubai families' businesses are consumer focused.
Yes.
So it's more, I think the first generation didn't have time to build up the family office properly. Because it's just they need to focus on the family business.
Yeah, that's true.
Now I think the next gen, second, third gen, it's important to build up the family office.
Yeah, that's true.
Because dad's business will be there. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tough question. It's kind of, I went to an event with Habib Al-Mullah partners in the Ministry of Economy the other day, and we were talking about the incentives. What's the incentives to change all of these structures?
Yeah.
If we're going to be paying tax now, what's the incentive? So I think a lot of the families are waiting for guidance still. But there is very good guidance, but like always, there's not enough yet for people to make that big decision.
Yeah, true. So when we come to second generation or the third generation, are they still interested in being in the business, or do they want to pivot out into something else, or how does that dynamic look like?
Yes, they are all interested. I mean, the passion for this country and the existing family's legacy is like no other country, right?
Okay.
There is parts to innovate. Digitize the supply chain, digitize the back office. But sometimes, because the family business was started by mum and dad, again, we've now got 5 to 12 shareholders who all have different views on life.
Yeah, true.
Sometimes people just want to be released from the family business and start their own legacy. Because it's not that I don't want to help dad's business. It will continue and I'm doing that. It's just, it's gone from one shareholder or 2 shareholders, could have been brothers, to now too many, which makes it dysfunctional. And everybody wants to take their piece of the pie. So that's not everyone, but it's a tough call because deep down, all of them will look after their legacy. But I think most people want to do their own thing
Yeah, that's true.
because they've all got their own kids coming.
Yeah.
They also want to, if they've studied in the US, they want to go out and do stuff in America.
Yeah.
But they can't run around. Actually, the big thing I didn't mention, the risk on the name.
Yeah, that's true.
Imagine going on a VC. See, this is where I think about everybody listening this who's from outside the country. If I'm a Series B startup from Chicago in biotech, do you really think a family legacy is going to put their name on your cap table? Absolutely not. Because you may or may not be successful.
Yeah.
And the failure will be directly linked back to the family.
Yeah.
Hence, a family office. Most family offices are not set up under the family name.
Yeah. The setup.
There's something completely different that nobody knows about. That's why people are frustrated they can't find them.
Yes.
You know?
True.
So, and the whole purpose of a family office is to make money. So you're going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
But it can't be directly linked to the family's name. So I think that's one of the biggest issues.
Yeah.
Is if you do want to be entrepreneurial, you can't be too entrepreneurial with the family business.
Yeah. That's true.
But I don't think a lot of people talk about that.
Because I think the first gen has built something and they have a playbook that works for them.
Agreed.
And when the second generation comes in, they don't really agree with the playbook.
Yes.
They think that it is not something that will continue for very long.
Agreed.
So they want to change it.
The world's changing fast.
Yeah, exactly, right? But the first gen doesn't agree because what they're doing still works, right? They do have a few clients or partners that still work with them and everything is really sorted.
Yeah.
But they're also seeing just until they live, right? Like
Yeah.
how many years do they also have, right? Business at the end of the day has to go to the next gen or the people who are working or,
Agreed,
however they work. So do you see a lot of difference of opinion there? And like how have you ever come across like a situation of how they manage these kind of situations?
I think most people think they're going to live forever.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone can always over prepare because everybody thinks they're going to live forever. So if you go to all these family office events, I think 70% of the people talk about succession, which is such a boring subject. It's so relevant, but it's so boring
Yeah.
because it's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So all I can say is, as the first generation is getting quite old now, with international pressure on the image of this country and too much volume, too many crazy ideas coming at the feet of some of these family businesses, I think there's a massive increase in that separation of family business and family wealth.
Okay.
And I also think that there is disputes within brothers, sisters, cousins, in-laws. I spoke with a local family here, and he called some of them outlaws because they're kind of attached to the family business, but they're not, our close family.
Yeah.
So you have all these opinions, all attached some way, or shape, or form to the family business. Some people just want to get out,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean that you don't like family. It doesn't mean that you don't respect the legacy. You just want to. If you have a great idea, you want to pursue it, but you need that separation.
Yeah, that's true. Not a lot of people think about it.
No.
Yeah.
And the good thing is now is, I keep telling people, so this is local families. So obviously ADGM, DIFC, I'll talk about other free zones in a minute because it's not just about those two as well, is when family offices from overseas set up here, the good news is they're only moving their family wealth.
Okay.
They're not exactly moving their family business because
The business
they've set
will
up a
be-
family
yeah,
office because
exactly.
their family business is successful overseas.
Yeah.
So all the international structures are all family offices. We can call them family offices
Okay.
because you're putting your wealth here.
Got it.
If you're successful in healthcare in Germany, why would you move that business here?
True.
So I also think that kind of comparison, especially with some of the events I've done recently, I think local families want to compare. And I think this kind of really nice moment of the UAE at the moment where you've got this comparison of international and local learning from each other.
Okay. Okay, so first we'll compare family offices from US and Europe versus the local. How are they different from each other?
I mean, a family office structure in America, a lot of them are big into liquid strategies.
Liquid strategies. Liquid strategies invest in assets that can be bought and sold quickly, such as listed stocks or funds. Investors can usually enter and exit these investments in a short time, often daily or weekly.
Okay.
So I think a lot of new family structures here, they don't know public equities like a US family would,
Okay.
right? Because the family's never made money from America or tech
Yeah.
stocks. So I think this kind of interest on if it's US private credit.
Private credit. Private credit is lending done directly by investors instead of banks or public markets. Companies borrow from these investors under agreed terms, and in return, the investors earn interest and fees.
I think there's a lot that the West can bring to new family structures here. But I also think there's a lot that this country can give to America, because most of the family businesses here they're hanging around.
Yeah.
America's like this at the moment. Europe's
Yeah.
like this at the moment.
True, true.
And I also think that operating here, even if you're the family wealth, you need to learn from the local structures and the people who've been here,
Yeah.
because
True.
it's challenging in itself. It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
easy. So it's kind of that local meets international, and it's exciting. So I see them helping each other indirectly.
That's true. So, what are the major countries where families are shifting their wealth here?
Europe, India,
Europe and India.
Yeah.
Okay. And why do you think that is the
tax,
case? Okay.
geopolitics. I mean, India's still going through loads of exits.
Yeah.
The government want to take money off those people. Europe, again, similar thing. Like, people are just fed up with paying taxes and receiving nothing in return.
That's true.
And also, people want change. I think the future of the world is different. People are looking at Africa. People are looking at Asia. It's not just about America anymore. So people see this as a place that's got tailwind and a good attraction of all different things. If it's
Yeah.
people, if it's access, brilliant. I can speak to China in my left ear and America in my right ear.
Yeah, that's true.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And just different. I think the world is, everybody wants something different at the moment.
That's true. So, from what I understand, is there are family wealth or family offices coming from Europe and India
Absolutely,
to Dubai,
yes.
and they're still investing back in their country.
Yes. And
Okay.
they'll learn to invest locally. And this is where they
Okay.
need the local families' help.
Yeah. Okay. So they're investing locally as well as outside.
Yeah. Even if it's in local public equities, they'll need to speak to local families
Yeah, that's true.
to understand it. There's a lot
Yeah.
of history there.
Yeah,
not
I agree
easy.
with you. Yeah.
And like anything, convincing a guy who's made all his money in the UK to invest in DFM or ADX,
Yeah, it's difficult.
never done it before.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, there's both ways, but there's a lot more international coming in than people think.
Yeah.
But most of them don't want to disclose it.
And why do you think that is the case?
I think it's like anything. It's the family wealth is private. The family business is public.
Okay.
It's like when the hardest thing for me with my events is diligence on the front end. Because I told you, everybody
Yeah.
who has a family in an office is a family office,
Yeah.
right? And Dubai is terrible for that. Abu Dhabi's a bit better. And the easiest way to kind of cut through it all is, okay, show me the family business. Because the family business would have been
Yeah.
successful. I don't care about the family wealth at this
Yeah.
point. Just show me the family business, and then I can figure out if that family business has generated a family office.
Wow.
It's the easiest way to diligent people.
Yeah.
And 70% of the people can't show me that.
Oh, really? 70% of them?
Yeah, because everyone's trying to get a free lunch.
Oh, wow.
When you start an events company where you're concentrating private wealth, everybody wants to come.
Yeah, that's true.
So as I said, it's exciting. We're seeing people from Ukraine. We're seeing people from Southeast Asia. We're seeing people from South America. Loads of people are setting up, and it's exciting. Who knows what will happen?
So last year I went to the Abu Dhabi Finance Week.
Yeah.
And I met this guy from Germany, single guy.
Yeah.
He was our age, like he was maybe 25 back when I met him. His dad made a lot of money. That single guy set up a family office here.
Yeah.
And it's just him.
Yeah.
And he's investing into illiquid strategies.
Yeah.
Which is, I was like, wow, like he's our age, literally. So that was very interesting.
Some people want to do it. Some people don't need the help. And he will over time. But maybe he just wants to prove himself.
Yeah.
So I think the good thing is, in a weird way, family offices come in all different shapes and sizes. But it's very easy if you know to see if one is one or not.
Yeah, that's true. So this brings me to my next question. When you do your events, right, you're obviously like targeting a lot of family offices and their
family
teams,
businesses,
family
both.
businesses, yes,
Because they're
team.
connected some way, shape or form.
So the people who want to be a part of these events are the ones who need money from them.
Yeah, that's the bit I tried. You know when I said I tried to be a different person in 2022 when I left the Cat 3C and ADGM? I don't like that expression, people who want money from family offices. I think everybody wants money off them, right? I tried to plug in key services and solutions to families because that is a necessity, not a luxury. Giving money to an investment bank is a luxury. If you want to pay management fees, go ahead. Can't be bothered to invest in private credit in America, give it to this bank who's good at it. That's a luxury. You don't need to do it, but it's a choice.
Yeah.
Filing for tax, that's a necessity. Legal structures, offshore structures, diversifying your kind of risk in Jersey, in this territory, is a necessity. You need to do it.
Yeah.
So I tried to figure out, again, over the years, you came to my first ever one about 3 years ago. It's learning over time, like what are these key services that family needs? And you only get that by listening.
Yeah, that's true.
But initially, yes, I went in going, yeah, this whole summit is about being investment opportunities, meeting family offices.
Yeah.
And then I realized most of them get good advice. They get good access. They have their key people that they look for. They have their banks that they use. But what I'm good at is bringing these key services that family offices need. And going on to my next question, the reason why I learned this, and then over time, I'll go on to it in a minute. We'll go back to the investment in a minute, but let me just talk about the key services. Is I sat with probably 5 local families, and they said they spend 70% of their time dealing with family.
Okay.
And 30% of their time allocating cash.
And what do you mean by spending time with family?
No, dealing with family.
Yeah, like,
A blocked toilet.
okay.
Right? When you're a second gen of a big family group, this is your wealth. This is your new legacy. Your family are probably getting paid from it. So the family are going to look to the management team of the office for help for all different situations.
Yeah, that's true.
People do not see this.
Yeah.
Getting a kid into a school. Using your contacts to get a kid first in line in this school.
Yeah.
So, as I said, not all family offices are just pure allocators. All of them do allocate money, but there's also a lot of solutions and services that they need. So that's kind of where I thought of the events is bring more services that are necessity to family offices. And then slowly over time, put in some good products, right? We all want to make money. We're in business to make money.
Yeah.
So like the last event, we had Columbia Threadneedle, $650 billion asset manager. That's big for us. It's our step into kind of the big investment product world. So they came out very happy. You know, they met a bunch of good families that allocated to hedge funds. So I said, now, if you put enough good people in a room, magic will happen. You don't need to force it.
True.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of my new focus is these events. Put key services around it, and then put a couple of products in, but don't dominate it with too many products.
Yeah.
Because then it becomes just an arranged meeting dating
Yeah.
fest, which we don't want. We want an
Yeah.
organic platform where people catch up,
Yeah.
people see each other. They go, that's interesting service. Come to the office and tell me more.
Yeah.
Opposed to, we've got a hedge fund, we produce this many returns, we charge this management fee. Are you in or not? There's not really much of a conversation outside of that, is
that's
there?
true. Yeah. I agree. So, like you mentioned, they already have access to these funds or products.
To some extent,
Yeah,
yes.
so they already do. So I see you post a lot about, family names. How can they target them? How can they reach out to them?
Yeah.
What are some of the red flags and things like that? People would usually charge for this information.
I know.
Why do you provide it for free?
I'd probably do it to annoy bankers. I don't know. I just think people hold contacts too close to their chest sometimes. And as I said, I had enough kind of like, when I was in Abu Dhabi, enough people kind of above me and older than me would look down on me. They were holding their contacts to their chest. They were the placement guys. They were the bankers that knew it all. They'd been there 20 years. I wasn't discrediting that. I was just trying to find my own way. And yes, I'll make mistakes. Like, I think my first ever event website, I put loads of names up on the website. Bad mistake.
Okay.
Very bad mistake.
Why was that?
Because it took me a few years to realise that you can't just turn up in this country and start throwing names around. It's true.
Yeah.
And I learned that very fast. But like always, we learn from our mistakes. And if you show that you've learned from them and keep progressing, then people understand why you did that to get to where you are.
Yeah.
So I think when I kind of felt being looked down on, and I got pushed out some cool groups, of all the big guys, I said, okay, well, on the platform, LinkedIn is my only social media platform I really use. I'm going to put my research. So I'm going to become a bit of a nerd in the industry, become better than those people, and I'm going to give all the information away for free. And that's, again, being disruptive.
Yeah.
So then I become this organic guy now who's not a banker, who's not a broker, who runs this organic platform that gives insights, informations, and connections for free. And if 90% of the things happen, they happen without my knowledge, which I know a lot of.
Yeah.
But if 10% comes back to reward me, that's enough.
That's a very good way to look at it.
I think that's the only way to look at it,
Fair. That's true.
right?
So you mentioned something about corporate tax.
Yeah.
Could you talk a bit more about it?
Disclosure.
Corporate tax, UAE context. In the UAE, corporate tax is 9% on business profits above a certain level, currently 375,000 dirhams. Profits up to that threshold are taxed at 0%, and only the amount above it is taxed at 9%.
Right, so this, I think most families need to understand that this is a good thing.
Okay.
Paying 9% doesn't sound great, but if you own a building in Dira, nobody's ever going to buy it unless you show the books.
Okay.
And we know that Dubai is moving around, as an example.
Yeah.
We know that the airport's moving. So from a foreign direct investment standpoint, if you want to raise money or attract foreign investment, which is a trend for family businesses now, some of them are listing companies, some of them are becoming capitalists. If you want to buy into this asset because it's old and we don't really do much with it anymore, the only way you're going to do that is by disclosing the books to the regulator. America is heavily regulated. Europe is heavily regulated. Singapore, heavily regulated. If you want to attract foreign direct investment, you have to be transparent with the FTA here. But you need to see that as a long-term investment into paying the corporate tax. So again, this is where the discussion of family business at the moment is, why should I move my personal assets into a corporate structure?
Yeah, that's true.
Because it benefits you as the government, not me. But if you see it as a long-term benefit from foreign investment,
Yeah. Got
that's why I mentioned corporate tax. It's good.
Interesting.
It
Yeah.
means that people will trust this country more and more and more, and it's going in the right direction.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier to do a drinks evening and just invite people. But it's important to pick a niche. Don't just make it too broad. Because the more niche you go, the more interests people will have with each other. Because you'll have similar challenges.
Yeah, that's true.
People are looking for jobs. I mean, I think 30% of the people coming to our summits are open-minded about new opportunities. Let's just be honest. That's why they're
Yeah.
networking. Right? Even if they're not moving, they're open-minded.
Yeah,
They're looking
that's
around, seeing what the market's doing, seeing where people are moving. So when I started doing the networking stuff, it was, how do you be different? So change the stage, change the floor, change the look and feel of everything.
Yeah.
And I feel as if we're really doing that, and I want to keep changing. Even when a family's come to one event, the next event I want it to be different every time. So there's something new. Because getting the CEO of a family business, as well as if it's not the chief investment officer of the family office, is a big deal.
Yeah, that's true.
You have one shot to capture their attention, for them to enjoy it, that they'll return. So from day one, I think from the first event was different because I launched it kind of just to see and feel.
Yeah.
But from the second event, and we've done 8 now, the goal was to provide enough value of them meeting other good people that they will come back.
Yeah.
So I capped sponsors. The only way you make a good event is if you cap sponsors. If you leave it open-ended, it just becomes an event for sponsors.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to really focus on getting different speakers, not the same opinions we see all around the UAE. I call them conference commandos. I still look at Super Return, I still look at Markets Group. They use the same speakers we've seen last year and the year before. No offense, like, they're good speakers, they're good profiles. But we're coming to hear different people.
Yeah.
We want to meet different people. We're not going back to meet the same people. I have their email and their phone number. So just different. And then it's this kind of element of, I think most conferences get boring after 2 p.m.
Yeah.
How do you keep the energy? So we're trying all these different things that are not like what everybody else does to make a summit conference experience different. And keep it to what we do, which is family businesses and offices. So I would like to think we're doing really well. We've got the right community. It's sticky now. We're about 70-30, which is 70% local, 30% international now at most events,
Okay.
which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I'm going all in on it.
Yes, I do see that.
All in.
Yeah, that's true. So, like, I want to understand, how do families look at networking in general? Like, are they very open to just networking with people, getting to know what's out there in the industry, or do they network for a specific reason?
I think coming there to network, to meet investment opportunities, most family offices will talk about an investment they're doing to another family office.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So family offices will sell to each other. So I think a summit will always talk about opportunities and investments. And then you can bring in some outside, but don't bring in too many. Bring in an asset manager that does this really well, bring in a hedge fund that does this really well, doing that. Don't cross. The other side of it is sniffing around for human capital. That's a big undisclosed thing.
Okay.
The next part is understanding other people's challenges. Wealth tech is a big one now.
Yeah.
Do we embed wealth tech and have less people in the office? How do we report back to the principal in a techie savvy way? Do we give him a screen which shows him his liquid value? The biggest thing that's come up recently is an 18-year-old kid in the family business. How do we get him involved?
Okay.
and I'm potentially going to do a small event on how to give them a type of portfolio where they can start allocating it to fixed income bonds, equities.
Yeah.
They'll probably lose the money, but
Yeah.
it's a risk capital that you have to allocate as father to your kids to teach them.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's another thing. So families will talk about what are they doing, because as a family office, you're managing the wealth. So the kids need to be associated to that wealth. They're part of the structure.
Yeah.
So how do we get them involved? So there's all these different gossips of strategies of what they're doing. And then the last one was family psychology.
Okay. This is interesting.
This is the new trend,
Okay. And like
right?
we
I
discussed
want to do
more-
an event with a top psychologist to tell us how family dynamics work. Because families don't fight, they argue.
That's true.
They argue. They say, I like this, I don't like this. That's an argument.
Yeah.
So, as a chief investment officer, how do you see arguments coming before they actually happen?
Okay, that's interesting.
How do you
Yes.
deal with an 18-year-old kid who wants to be a movie star? So, I think the massive gap at the moment, which I want to try and fill next year, is family psychology amongst family officers.
Wow, this is
Because
very
you
interesting.
can
Yeah.
teach that not to the family, to the employees of the office.
Yeah. That's
So they
true.
can prepare for things that are going to happen.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, your boss is the family.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to manage them. And it's your job to keep things moving.
Yeah, that's
keep
true.
it liquid.
Yeah, that's true.
Keep the relations
Yeah,
good.
but like I understand, as an employee dealing with family and their dynamics can be difficult.
Agreed.
Choosing sides can be difficult.
Exactly.
Choosing sides is very difficult.
But
yeah.
this is more for the smaller
Yeah.
offices with 3, 4, 5 people. Your experience, you have this other type of family office which is like semi-institutional. You get sent a dividend and you're very separate from the
Yeah.
family, and your job is to make money.
Yeah, that's true.
You operate kind of like your own investment
Yeah,
bank.
yeah. I think one where I worked was very institutionalized,
Very-
very professional.
Very credible, right?
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
knows of who you are and what you did. But you operate as an institution.
Yeah, that's true. But like I do meet with people in the industry, and I understand that these are some of the issues they face. Like I know so many people who are single working for a family office.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just them,
Yeah.
and they need to convince their principals, and it's just not one person, right?
No.
Maybe like 2 or 3
Yeah.
principals they need to convince, and not a lot of them believe in illiquid strategies. But I do see the trend changing. So that was like my next question. What is the trend in terms of asset classes looking like in the region?
I think family offices starting off, they're always going to go into more liquid strategies because
Okay.
they want to
Yeah.
show them that they're. If I'm a chief investment officer who's just been hired, I want to show money coming back. I call
Okay,
it.
yeah.
I don't want to park something that we in private equity fund that we're not going to see for a while. Day one, I just want to see some. So building out the portfolio initially, probably I call it local liquid.
Yeah.
Is probably the initial strategy.
Yeah.
And then as it matures, then we can start looking at private equity.
Equities, yes, that's true.
There are some family offices where they've headhunted somebody who's very experienced from another family office. They will like to do direct assets themselves.
Yeah.
So I know a lovely lady who's been headhunted from a UAE family to a Saudi family operating DIFC, and she will do direct private equity because she's good at it.
Yeah.
That's what she was employed for. Private credit in America is still a massive trend. Some people like it, some people don't, but private credit America.
Okay.
We've had a few people trying to push credit and equity in India, which is now a trend.
Okay.
I had a lovely lady from Crescent Enterprise at our last event talking about India. Spent 70% of her time talking about
Yeah.
what they're doing and their new strategy there. So yeah, I would say private equity, private credit, and liquid strategies. Hedge funds, you either like them or you don't.
Okay.
I don't think everyone does them. And it's more the institutional families that do hedge funds.
Yes, that's true.
And venture capital. You want me to be honest?
Yes.
Not many people are talking about it at all.
Really?
VC funds in general, no. Because families are not the best at pricing anything. So let's say direct venture capital.
Yeah. Yeah, direct.
Forget.
Yeah, direct even I think.
Yeah, forget
there's not much.
for
Yeah.
anybody listening, just to save time, do not come here and ask a family office to price your round. It's just a waste of your airline bill and hotel bills.
Yeah.
Yes, they'll follow on if there's good names on the cap table, or if a big manager's doing an SPV, fine, that's different. Because you're offloading the risk for somebody else, a name that's known in the market. Venture capital funds, only mature ones at the moment.
Got
I
it.
think tech's going through a cycle at the moment, and not a lot of people here are willing to take a risk on an emerging manager in VC at the moment.
Got it.
At the moment.
Yeah.
But I think it's the year we've had. Tech stocks have gone like this, they've gone down like
Yeah.
this. America fighting with China, the data center chip war at the moment.
Yeah, there's a
Too
lot
volatile.
going on. Yeah, that's
Trump
true.
saying the H1 visas are not accessible to India at the moment.
Yeah.
Is that going to push all the software back to India? It's too much risk.
Yeah, that's true.
But at the same time, at the event, we had Nirav from RP Group doing investments in America. He'd just come back that evening. He was so tired, bless him. I thought he was going to fall asleep on stage. And he was talking about US tech. He loves it.
Yeah.
But it was more private equity than venture.
Got it. So when a family is making a decision on which one to invest in, which manager or in asset class or whatever, how does the process look like? Like, let's say, what are the top 3 things that they definitely look for that is important to them?
The trend is mid-market access at the moment.
Okay.
Like mid-market private equity in industrials or healthcare or stuff like this. So
Okay.
I think it's a private equity manager that can get that type of access, that know the geopolitical risk, the currency risk, everything on the ground. Let's say if I'm going into India,
Yeah.
they have a good track record of doing that. So I think it's a lot of them will look for that kind of mid-market access.
Okay.
Rather than just piggybacking a big private equity transaction. I know Mubadala Capital are now going out to the family market because they're doing private equity transactions as Mubadala Capital, and they'll leave an SPV for families to follow them, which I think is great.
Yeah, it's really good.
But I wouldn't say that's as profitable as going in mid-market into like a new jurisdiction. You know, you're probably going to make less money, but it's good to get going, and it's Mubadala,
Yeah,
all
that's
these types
true.
of things. It
Yeah.
will satisfy the big boss. So I think looking into managers, I mean, half the world's running here at the moment. I mean, I think I say to people, like, the strategies of setting up a feeder structure here, all these types of things, they do help. Kind of having that local presence where we're going to be on your doorstep so you can check in on us,
Yeah.
opposed to us being in America and give us your money and we'll tell you how well we're doing. Just let us do our jobs. I think that kind of the more local attachment will put you ahead of others.
Okay.
Having that feeder structure
Yeah.
or somebody there to kind of speak to the boss, like an asset manager would do in Abu Dhabi when taking an LP investment from Adia.
Yeah.
They'll set up an office to just manage that relationship.
Yeah.
People need to do the same investment in a lot of family offices here.
So you mentioned that having a presence here is very important.
It's not always, but if you're in mid to low kind of your life cycle as a fund manager and you're still emerging, it makes a difference.
Okay.
If you're a big name,
It wouldn't matter.
it's different.
Yeah, that's true.
But yes, if you're trying to prove yourself and get above the noise and kind of break into the UAE, you haven't taken an LP investment, it differentiates you over other people.
Okay.
But it's a cost of capital
Yeah,
that you need
that's
to factor in. It's not cheap.
Okay. So you mentioned presence, and then the other thing you were talking about is having good names on the cap table.
Yeah, and the reason, I think it hasn't changed yet, but the UAE is very good at white labeling franchises and brands from around the world,
Okay.
because that's how they built the country.
Yeah, that's true.
We take all what works best in countries, and this is why this place is amazing at the moment.
Yeah.
We've taken what works in China, America, and we brought it here. So as a family office, you're kind of embedded in your head that you want to see things that have worked overseas before I've now joined.
Yeah.
So as a family business, we took Starbucks. It works in the world, so it's going to work here. So if I look at a private equity fund and you've got this guy on the cap table who's very successful and you've made money in Europe and now you're coming to us, okay, well, it works in Europe, you've made money in Europe, so it's likely you're going to do well here, right? I know it sounds stupid and simple, but it's true. It's just like that kind of, I call it quick diligence. It helps. This is still a developed emerging market where they're not like other markets where America, it's like, if I'm a manager, I need to beat the guy next to me, otherwise I don't have a job.
Yeah.
In this country, it's still a little bit like, I don't want to make a mistake and I'll stay longer in my position, opposed to beating the person next to me.
Which one do you think is better?
Well, look at America. The biggest public market, the most tech exits. I think that's better, obviously, but this is where we spoke at that event I was talking about with Habib Al-Mullah and Ministry of Economy. I was on stage with the Undersecretary, and it was him who said, my dream is to see family wealth here become capitalists.
Yeah. I think it's getting there.
It's getting there.
Yes.
Getting there, 100%.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's that, and as I said, it's that international entrance of family wealth here and other wealth that's helping that become capitalist. Let's make some money. Let's beat this guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Because for years, and this is where I struggled a little bit in the early days of Abu Dhabi, it was very reserved. Ooh, you know, the quieter I stay, the longer I stay.
Yeah, that's true.
But now Abu Dhabi's like, let's go, let's make some money.
Yeah.
So this 2030 strategy in Saudi, Qatar, I think the UAE have a 2030 strategy? Probably.
Yeah, they will have something.
There's this kind of big push, and a lot of it's in financial services. You got the big energy summit in Abu Dhabi at the moment, massive announcements.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Sultan said data centers.
Data centers, next big thing.
Nvidia, they've just done a big deal with G42 and God knows what else. So obviously they're going to push that.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, it's. But the family businesses are the private sector. They're called private sector for a reason.
Yeah.
Getting them on stage for me sometimes is very hard.
Yeah, I can imagine. Getting guests for podcasts is difficult for me. So for you, I can imagine it would be like...
And I moderate nearly every panel. I think the first event you ever came to, I let a few people moderate and it was so bad. Not because they were bad, it was just bad. So a lot of the times how I convince families is because I say, I control your interest. If you're a CEO, I will protect the interest of your job. I know what not to ask you.
Yeah.
I know. Like I had a local Emirati kid, 25-year-old from a very successful family. He represented himself.
Wow.
Which is another approach.
Yeah.
If you tell them to represent themselves, then it's a lot easier.
Yeah.
But if you ask them to represent the family business, no, can't do it.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I've learned strategies of how to get people up there. And when he did it, he loved it because it was more for him.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, the private sector and family businesses, it's different because it's still very much offline.
Yeah. So let me then come to human capital, right?
Yes.
How has the hiring of people changed?
I want to say that this country's learned from paying big salaries.
Okay.
In the last few years.
Okay.
Because I've seen a lot of hiring and a whole clear out of...
Yes, I've also seen that.
Literally in the last year. I can't comment on the sovereigns or the big institutions. There's movement there all the time. But on the family business space, I think the reason why there's movement is because if the main patriarch had set up a family office, now if he's distributing dividends to his sons that want to separate, it means that less capital is going to go to the family office. So that doesn't need to be as big.
Yeah.
And also people get upset because they're kind of waiting for money to come back before they can reinvest it. It's boring.
Yeah.
So I've seen that a few times. So I think the movement of family offices is quite heavy at the moment. The new legacy brands, obviously, they're hiring. Baby steps, not aggressively. I've seen 2 years ago, there was the first generation of kind of these new legacy family offices. They hired loads of expensive people, do this. And I think now, actually this year, I think it's because of corporate tax, because of disclosure and more things. I think they've looked at the books and gone, well, we're still the same.
Yeah.
We haven't got worse, but we haven't improved.
Yeah.
The job was to improve with all you amazing people. Okay, everybody gone, let's get new people in, and we'll pay you less. So I think there's a little bit of, everybody will have to learn when they do it first.
Yeah.
Big CVs won't always produce the best team.
That's true.
There's this amazing lady who I call she hates it, I call her the OG of the family office space in the whole country. And she genuinely cares about family business. She gets really emotional about the family. And she says, the reason why I like networking with other families is I actually like hearing stories, and I get a bit sucked in. I get a bit emotional about it all. Because I love family. I have my own. I have a big family. So I think people like her, she was set up the first ever family office of one of the big families in Dubai. And she's surviving and one of the best because she's real. She doesn't go in with the CV. She goes in. I think the first thing she ever did was she met the sons and the daughter and wanted to build a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Once they've done that, then fine, I'm in. But if I don't get the relationship with them, then there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Because my job is to build it for them.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very good way to look at it.
Yeah. So I think and a lot of people leaving, there's like every private bank's in DIFC or ADGM now. So there's a family office, kind of your job is to be your own private bank. In the early stage, you need to use them.
Yeah.
And I think indirectly people will always use some private banks, whatever. But the job is to use less of them.
Yes, that's true.
If I'm paying more to build out the human capital of my own family office, it means I want to pay less fees to bankers.
Yes.
So there is this battle now of private banks and new family office structures. So now bankers are now going, we need to jump over to the family office side because this seems like a better move for us because there's too many private banks here.
Yeah.
So human capital, there's jobs increasing because new liquidity is being available. New wealth is being moved into this country like no other. Hence, I know a lot of people have been poached from private banks to set up as individuals, the family office, initially as an individual. Start moving it, then get an analyst, then get this person, then get this person. Outsource a lot of the services now.
Yeah.
The buzzword of a digital family office
Okay.
is a lot of multi-family offices are trying to be that digital family office. We'll lower the fees, the human capital, and we'll manage but I don't have an opinion about multi-family offices. I don't know.
Okay. What do you mean by digital family offices? This is the first time I'm hearing this.
Less people and more technology capabilities.
Okay.
They're expensive, but these wealth tech platforms.
Yeah.
I can pull reports. I can see my exposure then and there. I can see what my market rate is for my boats and my planes.
Yeah.
I know the value of me.
Yeah, that's true.
As a family
That's
office, that's your
interesting,
number one
yeah.
job.
Yeah,
To
that's true.
keep growing. I say, as long as they see green and they can see their wealth going green, then that's
They're
fine.
happy about it, true.
So the digital family office is kind of, do I think AI will take over a family office? No. There will always need to be a head to blame.
Yeah, for sure.
There will always need to be somebody to sit down with the next gen and tell them what life is really like. But I think there's services that can be used by tech, and that's where the digital office comes from. And this is where I think multifamily offices are trying to say, lower human capital fees and come under our umbrella. But we're seeing a big pushback on PwC, all these big kind of names, that family offices are fed up being treated the same. You give the same document to all these families, and we're all different.
Yeah.
So I always think a family office will always be personal to the family.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
the buzzword of the digital family office,
Got it. So I think what happens is when I go to multiple events, right, and I meet people coming from different countries, they're representing international funds or whatever, they find it very difficult to network the right way.
Yes.
So from what I understand, that networking works very differently in other countries versus the UAE.
Yeah.
And I think, like, since I am born and brought up here, I know more of networking on this side of the region
than outside.
Me more so now, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been inclined to it.
Yeah. So, how do you think it's different?
I mean, if you go to an event in New York, it's very, let's go, let's make some money. Networking here, it's just different. They want, like, even the management of the family office wants to see you loads of times,
Yeah.
even in the circuit or in the community for the next year before they even think about doing something with you.
Yeah.
There's this essence of saving your personal brand first before I trust somebody. When in New York, again, it's like, I need to make money because that's how I build my personal brand. I don't know, but I'm so inclined to networking here now. It's kind of this slower, personable way about hearing people's stories and actually taking it a little bit offline and speaking to them opposed to business.
Yeah.
I guess we're embracing the culture here, and it's kind of
Yeah.
now embedded in how we do events and networking.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I've been so focused on networking here and cracking the networking code here. I don't do my events overseas.
Yeah.
Too many people are coming here. I don't need to go overseas.
Yeah, that's true. So coming back to this region,
Yeah.
I saw one of your LinkedIn posts about
Okay.
a Majlis event, like a Majlis meeting, not a
Yes.
Majlis event,
Yeah,
like
that's
a Majlis
different.
meeting.
When you get invited to meet the family.
Yes, can you tell us a little bit more about
Yeah,
that?
so in some cases, you may meet the family,
Okay,
which is the family business. That's not the office,
okay,
but the family business owns the office.
okay.
So this is where I always say is I talk a lot about online, about like when I do some of my posts, I will post the family business because the family business owns the family office.
Yeah.
But most of the time, the family office may not even have a website or a brand, but the family business owns it. So that is
Yes.
your source.
Okay,
And sometimes you meet the family,
okay.
the UBO, the principal. Now, when you meet them, wow, is it a different experience? Because they've made money by building relationships with other families in the region. They've made money by building relationships with international franchises. So they say, come here, I will treat you like my family, and this is how I'm going to treat your brand.
Oh, wow.
Right? So when you get invited to that Majlis, the more human you are, the better, I guess, the response will be. And the goal, I said, is never to come out of there with an outcome except from being invited back to his next meeting and him going, Ramadan's coming up.
Yeah.
I want you to come to one of my suhoors. Come along. And that environment is, they have worked, they're so proud of the legacy that they've created. They built this place from a pile of
From
sand.
nothing, yeah.
Right? So being invited to that kind of Majlis territory is really about how do I become one of their family? And it's not pushing, it's more listening, sharing and showing the type of person I am. So that's the Majlis. And again, going back to when I first came to the country, people saw me as short term.
Okay.
I'm this young expat guy. I don't wear watches. Maybe at the time I did. I don't drive flashy cars. At the time I didn't. I couldn't afford them. But you know what I mean? I was kind of a bit like, I need to look like the guy to be at their table. When the more I've kind of tapered it back, the more successful I've been. And the goal is to, how do you show yourself that you're long term? And again, this is going back to like the fund managers setting up feeder structures. How do I prove long term here? How do I show that I'm not just here for cash and leaving and treat you like a bank account? Because this is not how this country made money.
Yeah, that's true. It's very different.
They made this country, they made their family business by treating brands like family. And I think that's one of the key messages is, as a fund manager, as a founder, how do you get invited to become one of the family?
Yeah.
And this is where a lot of people may get frustrated, because a lot of the time when you're speaking to the family, it's not a one-way street. They don't care about sending you money and making money. They care about, how do you help us? and how do we help you?
Yeah. So, what are some of the misconceptions that these asset managers have, or in general, do people have about family offices here in the region?
These guys don't need you to make money. You're a luxury product. Before everybody started coming here, they were already successful.
Yeah.
So why do we need you now? I think that relates a lot to the first generation. Second generation, when they're building their new legacy, they do need them.
Yeah.
Because they need expert help to kind of spike their wealth. But coming in with that mentality of we're the best in America and we got this name and this name on our cap table, couldn't care less.
Yeah.
I make $1 billion in sales selling cars.
Yeah.
Making 8-12% per annum, okay, cool. Like, and I'm saying it in kind of that young mentality, but it really is that this country is geniuses in capturing the interest it's getting right now. So if you're genuinely not sold on being here for the next 8 to 10, it's like investing in healthcare.
Yeah.
If you're not in for 8 to 10 years, forget about it.
Yeah, that's true.
Just forget about it. If you're interested in sitting in London and as a VC fund popping in here to find a few LPs, forget about it. Again, if you're a big name, it's a bit different.
Yeah. So this is like my last question to you. What would your advice be to someone who's trying to crack into the market here?
Understand if you have the budget and the time.
Okay. What do you
Because
mean by budget and time?
the cost of spending time here, the cost of building that relationship. If you're targeting family offices,
Okay.
right? If you're targeting institutions and you're a good name, it's a bit different, right? You may be known to them already. Cost of time, you probably need to come here 2, 3, 4 times a year.
Even more.
Even more.
Yeah, even more.
Right?
for
I'm just
sure.
talking about the
Yeah,
base level.
Yeah.
Hotels, flights. And then, okay, are you actually here or are you still just dressing up in a suit and flying in and out? Do you have a base here? The more of that local story that you can tell, the stronger it will be to get that local commitment. Again, I think the thing people need to understand, are they really serious about being here? Because if you're not, you're in the same bucket as 80% of the people coming in here where they're just giving it a go because it's trending. But that 20% that are successful, they're like the UAE, we are committed, we have the budget, we have the people, we have the time, and we're in. If you're not, come a few times, give it a go for a bit of PR, fine, but you won't get any success. And I think that's what the UAE flag wants more than ever.
Yeah.
I think short term is not in their vocabulary.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, that even I've noticed. Very true.
So how do you prove to somebody the other side of a table that you're long term, day one? That's the challenge. Doesn't matter what product you're selling.
Yeah.
Forget about the product. How do you prove that you're long term?
Yeah, that's true. So I'm sure your events are really helping with creating that familiarity.
The events are, I call them super organic at the moment. I'm the events guy. I've accepted that. I'm going to see where it goes.
Yeah, that's true.
Keeping it super organic, focus on good people meeting good people, and let the magic happen. Yes, add some content. Yes, add some key services. Have a little bit of a business element to it, of course. You don't want just a drinks evening. You know, you need a little bit of structure because people need an excuse to get out the office.
Yeah.
They do, right? You can't just say, oh, I'm going to a party down the road.
Yeah.
You do need to show something. And being honest, at the moment, I want to treat it as a foreign direct investment tool for the country. So we're attracting people in to be part of the community.
But I am very excited for the upcoming event that you have in December.
Yes, the big next summit. So I've got some smaller ones in December. And there's a massive gap for next gen.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something, and you've got to do something a bit quirky with next gen.
Yeah.
But I have like a bucket of like genuine 50 probably next gen family members from the age of, I do it 25 to just under 40. So I'm doing that. And then my next summit is Dubai in February before Ramadan, which again, we're going from strength to strength.
Okay.
We had the government of India partner with our last event.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had an institution like Columbia Threadneedle.
Yeah.
This is all new to me.
Yeah.
So I'm having to deal with higher caliber
Yeah.
partners, and this is where the community grows together. But I'm still very loyal to some of the smaller people that have helped me get there. There's a couple of recruiters, there's a couple of service providers, and to be honest, sometimes a lot of the families still like the people
Yeah.
there because they're more bespoke to the family's needs. So yeah, as I said, I'm all in on events. I'm learning a lot, and I'm trying to feed the data to people and the
Yeah.
insights as best as I can.
No, but all the best.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to the next one. For sure, I'll see you there.
Yes.
But thank you so much for
You should
taking
do
the
this.
time
We
out.
should actually. You should put this at our February event and do it live.
Yes, please.
That's
I
a
would
good
love
point,
to
actually.
do that. Yes.
We need to do that
Yes.
because I don't have the time to do it. I would do it, but I don't have the
Yeah.
time. I'm busy. I
Happy to. You
moderate.
have
I
this
moderate
panel.
90% of the panels, so
Yeah.
I'm busy doing that.
Yeah, we are here. So
Good.
do let us know. But thank you so much for taking
Thank you
the
for
time.
having me.
I'm sure people would have learned so much about what's happening in the market, because I think
Yes.
this is what even like I personally wanted to know,
Yeah.
or people want to know. And these conversations happen on the back end,
Yeah.
not outside. Like, people don't generally know about it. And this was the reason why we started this. So thank you so much for
No, it's
taking
good.
the
Good.
time. I really appreciate it.
I'm happy you did. It's also quite. You've got to be quite brave to do something a bit different. A lot of people go from job to job, and I think it's good to kind of show people that you're creative, show people that you're willing to kind of get people to the table, because it creates a lot of value. I think this country's also very entrepreneurial in its own way.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of human capital employees these days are very much too corporate.
Yeah, that's true. But
Good.
yes,
Thank you very much for your time.
thank you so much.
The views expressed in this podcast are personal opinions, meant for educational purpose only, and do not constitute financial advice. Please consult a licensed financial professional before making any investment decisions.